The cockpit was suffocatingly quiet, except for her heartbeat. Major Elena Carter gripped the flight stick, sweat rolling down her temple despite the icy air that seeped through the hangar. Outside, 3 male pilots leaned against a fighter jet, their laughter echoing off the concrete. "Viper's grounded again," one of them said, loud enough for her to hear. "Guess flying's still a man's game." Elena didn't look up. Her jaw clenched, her knuckles white. She had trained longer, fought harder, and bled more than any of them. But that never seemed to matter. Not when the whispers followed her everywhere. "She doesn't belong here." Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her call sign, Viper, had once meant precision, unbreakable focus. But lately, it had become a cruel joke whispered across the base. Ever since the training incident, the one where she refused to leave her wingman behind during a storm, Command had questioned her judgment. Compassion, they said, wasn't an asset in combat. That morning, as she walked across the flight line, the sound of engines testing filled the sky. A cold wind tugged at her flight suit. Above, the horizon stretched in bands of pink and steel. She'd loved flying since she was a child. The silence above the clouds, the way the world seemed so small below. But now, it felt like the sky itself was rejecting her. In the control tower, Colonel Briggs watched her with a sigh. "Carter's too emotional," he muttered to his deputy. "We can't afford hesitation up there." What he didn't know, what none of them did, was that hesitation wasn't her weakness. It was her humanity. That night, a storm brewed over the base, black clouds rolling in from the north. The radar room buzzed with static and chatter. Then, at 02:17 hours, an alert ripped through the speakers. NORAD to Eagle Command. Unidentified aircraft breaching northern airspace. Possible hostile approach. The room froze. The colonel barked orders. Jets were scrambled. But as luck would have it, 2 pilots went down with oxygen issues just minutes before takeoff. That left 1 fighter ready, 1 pilot available, and her name was on it. "Carter, you're not cleared for night ops," Briggs snapped. Elena met his glare with steady eyes. "Sir, you're out of options." He hesitated. The room was chaos. Red lights flashing, officers shouting into radios. Outside, thunder rumbled like distant artillery. Finally, he exhaled. "Fine. You're on your own, Viper." The tarmac was slick with rain as she climbed into the cockpit. Lightning forked across the sky. Her hands trembled as she powered up the engines. Not from fear, but from something heavier. The weight of being proven right. As the jet roared down the runway, the world fell away beneath her. The storm swallowed the stars. Her oxygen mask fogged slightly as she reached cruising altitude, instruments glowing in ghostly green. Eagle Command. "This is Viper. I'm in pursuit. Copy." "Viper. Be advised, bogey approaching critical range. Possible stealth configuration." Her pulse quickened. Through the dense cloud cover, she caught flashes. A dark silhouette cutting through lightning streaks. She banked hard, tracing the intruder's path. Then, through her headset, a voice crackled. "NORAD. To all channels. Viper, we need you to intercept. You're our only eye in the storm." The words hit her like fuel on a dying flame. "They need me." She closed the distance. The unidentified craft dove nearly vanishing from radar. Elena followed instinctively. Faster, lower, threading through the violent clouds. Her hands moved with terrifying grace, every motion fluid and precise. At last, the target broke through the storm front. A black drone, foreign-built, armed, and primed. If it reached the coastline, it could trigger chaos. "Viper to command," she called, voice steady. "Target acquired. Orders?" "Engage, missiles armed." Crosshairs aligned, and then she hesitated. Something flickered on her radar. A smaller blip. Civilian aircraft trapped below the clouds. Right in the kill zone. If she fired now, she'd take them both out. The control room erupted. "What's she waiting for?" Briggs shouted. "Fire, Viper!" But Elena's mind spun through the math. Altitude, trajectory, wind speed, angles. One wrong move and lives would be lost. She exhaled. Then she pulled a maneuver no one had ever attempted in that storm. Diving into the clouds, she cut beneath the drone's path, dragging its targeting system with her. Lightning flashed inches from her canopy. At the last possible second, she broke left and fired. The missile struck clean. The drone vanished in a burst of fire, swallowed by the storm. The civilian aircraft emerged moments later, trembling but intact. When she landed, the hangar was silent. Rain hammered the roof. For the first time, no one whispered. No one laughed. They just stared at the woman who had risked everything to save strangers. Colonel Briggs approached, his voice soft. "You could have taken the easy shot." "I didn't join to take the easy shots, sir," she replied. He nodded once. Then, almost reluctantly, saluted. That night, her call sign returned to the board, not as a joke, but as a legend. Weeks later, a letter arrived from NORAD Command. For extraordinary judgment and valor in aerial engagement, Major Elena Viper Carter is hereby awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. She read it alone, in the same hangar where they once said she didn't belong. Outside, a jet sliced across the dawn sky, and she smiled. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back, even at 30,000 feet. If this story moved you, share it. Subscribe to Whispered Words for more tales of courage, heart, and redemption. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Viper's cockpit?